Let's hit that record button. All right, Miss Holly Brewer, one of my favorite people that I've gotten to know in the last few years, even myself. Funny story. So Holly is one of my inspirations to actually go to EXP, even though she's not a real estate agent. I called her and I'm like, Holly, you're just a rock star, and I know you run a network marketing team. I said, and I watch you, and you inspire me to go sell face creams, and I don't even sell face creams. I said, so look at this, and is this sustainable? Is this a pyramid? I had all those fears that you probably had doing your business. And so with her energy and enthusiasm, she looked at it and she said, no, if you can bring great value to people, you can change lives with this. So she was really, truly one of the inspirations that got me here. So she runs, 6 years now or 7 years at Rodan?
Yeah, it'll be 8 this summer. It'll be 8 this summer, which is crazy.
That's crazy. So 8 years, and you run a team of how many thousands of, I don't know.
6,000 right now. Yeah, 6,000 that are currently active consultants. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. So
across
6,000.
Canada and Australia.
Yeah, so that is amazing. So 6,000 ladies in 8 years. And today I want to talk about, how that looked for you in the beginning, just all of the issues you had, then growing the team, then how do you keep your team inspired? Just the whole thing. How does that look? Because I have a team of 14 and half the time Pam and I are pulling our hair out, right? So
yes. No, it's true. I like to say that this business will never change your life until it first changes you, right? Because this is new. I don't even know if we were recording yet when Tina said, you're walking into something that's the unknown.
Yes.
By the way, my husband has his broker's license because he's in real estate development. And so my father does as well because he's a real estate developer. I've been around real estate my entire life. In fact, there was a time in my life where I thought I was going to be. And so I will tell you that I'm very familiar with the industry. I've always loved it. And when Tina did come to me about this, I was blown away. And I'll talk about that a little more in a minute, but I thought, girl, you need to do this today, like right now, because I saw what EXP was doing and why it was so different in the same way that I saw Rodan & Fields 8 years ago. So a little quick background about me. I gave up a career as a CPA to devote more time to my kids while my husband, Paul, was starting his entrepreneurial endeavors in real estate development. And so I was happy to give up that career. To be honest, I didn't love being an accountant and sitting behind a desk and plugging numbers. While I can do it, I love people too much. I have to be out interacting with people. And as it turns out, I'm good at sales, but I thought I wasn't at all. And I had avoided sales my entire life. I had avoided sales because I was avoiding rejection, okay? And I didn't understand how to take rejection because I like to be accepted like everybody else. And so I had avoided sales my entire life, but it really suits my personality because sales, good sales, is essentially connecting somebody who needs or wants something to what they need or want. That's what good salespeople do. They're not slimy. They're not pushy. They're not, they really, I think the best salespeople have the interest of the buyer at heart first. That's first priority. Because I think it was Zig Ziglar who said, if you help enough people get what they want, you can have what you want. And so when I was looking at Rodan & Fields 8 years ago, I will tell you guys, I had no knowledge of skincare. I'd been seeing a dermatologist for 2 years for my sun damage, and she was not doing a good job of taking care of that for me with prescriptions. She had basically said to me, you need to have this lasered. And then I didn't have the money at the time to do that. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But I knew nothing about skincare, and I had no sales experience whatsoever. But here's why I even looked at Rodan & Fields, which is a skincare company, by the way. So I had a need, number one. This was during the mortgage crisis. Remember, that started in 2008?
Oh, yes.
So all about that time of life. By 2012, because so much of our money was tied up in assets that were no longer liquid because we couldn't sell anything, right? It was dead halt. We own land we can't develop. And I mean, our budget was so tight that talking about coloring our hair, we were talking about that before we went live. I was coloring my own hair and not going to get manis and petties. Like self-care was now at home because our budget was that tight. And I thought to myself, I'm an untapped resource. Here I am, a stay-at-home mom. I can do more what do I want to do? Well, it was just fortuitous that at the same time, the senior vice president of a large national bank that I'd known in high school and I respected her as a businesswoman came to me and said, there's this company that is relatively new on the scene, and I think you'd be amazing at it. And I took a look at it, and because Rodan and Fields was started by the proactive doctors, so this goes back to my business acumen and my experience, I knew those doctors to be billion-dollar brand owners, that they were an acne giant around the globe.
Right.
And I thought, well, gosh, if these two women are letting people sort of hitch their wagon to them, I should look at that. Because my husband, Paul, had been a Proactive user for years, and he had tried to buy stock in Proactive, and it was never publicly traded. Now, what you also need to know about Paul and me, and this might resonate with some of you, we hated direct sales. I'm going to say it. We hated MLMs. We did not like direct sales companies. We thought they were slimy. We thought they were taking inferior products and putting it in the business model, and they were selling it to distributors. And we were like, never will we do that. Never. Never say never. So because Rodan and Fields was started by those Proactive doctors, because it had been in a retail channel, so we had originally launched in high-end retailers like Nordstrom, where we became the #1 clinical skincare brand nationally in really a very short amount of time. Estee Lauder bought us. And so we thought we were on the fast track to the top. Well, you guys all know what happened to retail. This part of my story is important too. Well, what has happened to retail? Have you been to the mall lately? Well, probably not because of quarantine, but malls are not what they used to be. And then these storefronts aren't what they used to be. And brick and mortar's changing. And don't you guys know that with your business model? Technology is changing the way we do business, and it's changing it faster than it ever has.
That's right.
And so what Rodan and Fields saw that was so smart was that when they did market research about who was selling our products, what they found out was it wasn't the brick and mortar store, it wasn't Nordstrom, and it wasn't that gal behind the counter who's probably getting paid, $12 an hour. That wasn't her that was selling the product. It was me. It was Tina. It was someone who's using the products, and your friend's going, what are you doing? What's different? And you're telling, it's word of mouth. You're telling them about it. And they said, what if we bought our company back from Estee Lauder? What if we put it in a direct sales channel? But what if we not only redefine the way people access skincare? What if we redefine the direct selling channel? Mm-hmm. What if we do it differently? That was their mission, and they did. Whereas so many direct sales companies go and they go get these top direct sellers, like they would come and get a leader like me and try to bring me over, which that happens quite a bit. They try to pay us to come over to another brand, which I would not ever do. What they do then is they try to start with bringing in influencers right away. Rodan and Fields wouldn't do it. So we're not going to go hurt another company to get ahead. We believe in what we're doing. We're going to do it ethically. And so they did. They started literally with people just like me. And they said, do you want to be able to grow a business? Here's kind of a business in a box. For less than $1,000, you can get started. Your overhead's about $100 a month. Here's what we want you to do. Use the products and talk about them. So guys, here's what I'm going to tell you. I never in a million years thought I would do this. I thought it was not in my wheelhouse. And I thought I had no favorable opinion of this industry, but I saw that it was different. And I saw that it was a disruptor. And I was so fortunate that from the moment I enrolled as a consultant, and Paul was the one who said, if you don't do this, you're crazy. Kind of what he said to Tina. If you don't do this, you're crazy. He saw it too. And I have to tell you, he was so right. I jumped in with no experience, but here's what I had in my favor. And this is what I'm going to challenge you guys with. I knew my work ethic. Okay? I knew and I could see that this business was going to offer something to women that we had not been offered before. So what I mean by that is when I got pregnant with our firstborn child and I decided to really devote my time to being a mom, there was not options for me to be a CPA and a mom, a very present full-time mom. At the time, there weren't. Technology's not where it is today. There weren't these work from home options. That was so frowned upon. So I had to give up the career to devote my time to my kids. What I saw was happening was that now technology and this company was redefining the way we could work, right? And so does that sound familiar to you? Redefining the way something can look.
Yes.
Because I got it, I could sell it. So literally, when I enrolled, I didn't even have my first customer yet. I went and sold this business to other people because I thought, you know what? If we link arms and we do this together, we'll change a lot of people's skin, but we'll change a lot of people's lives. Mm-hmm. And I started just talking about it. I wasn't pushy. I wasn't obnoxious. I didn't blast it all over social media every single day. I literally went and invited people to coffees. I invited people to a phone conversation. And this is what I did. Here's what I found. Here's the value I see it bringing to the marketplace. And here's what I want to do with it. And just by being honest and authentic, I was able to build a team of what's today 6,000 consultants across 3 countries. But what I personally did was I personally brought in over 100 direct people to me to start their own businesses.
That was my next question. Mm-hmm.
Yes, yeah, it was 100 people. So 100 people direct, 100 plus, and then 6,000, because here's what I did. And I know Tina does this too. I allowed my team to leverage me where my gifts were, and Tina has these gifts. Training, I figured out how to sell products. I figured out how to sell this business, and I created a system, an infrastructure for our team to leverage so that when they wanted to, grow their business, they could basically leverage that into theirs. Because it's so different, right? Because in a traditional business model of real estate, or like in corporate America, it is compete to get to the top. But in this business model, it's you reach your hand back and say, come on, I figured this out, come with me, right? And it's beautiful. It's beautiful, right? And so that's when I figured out servant leadership, which was my heart anyway, which is, I want to tell you how I figured out. It's the same reason I love talking with Tina business all the time, is I love talking with her because she gets it, and because I know I've learned some things and that maybe some of my experience could help her. Well, that's the same spirit I took into my business, was how can I help people create a business of their own that is whatever they want it to be, and how do I support them in doing that? And of course, along the way, we were changing tons of skin, and that was exciting, but it was not my passion. Okay, skincare was never my passion. I love it. I love that it works, but my passion was entrepreneurialism. And that was true the moment I graduated. I remember interviewing with Arthur Anderson, who hired me out of college, and they were like, what's your vision for your life? And I said, honestly, I want to get to where I'm working with small business owners and entrepreneurs to launch businesses and to make their businesses better. That was always my why. That was always my passion. And now, who knew that it was going to end up that I would use that passion and those gifts and those skills in skincare, in direct selling, which I had hated. Right. Right? So I share that with you to say that this is what's happened since. I went on to basically set that tone for our team to really talk about servant selling and servant leadership, and not being icky and not being gross, and just being honest and authentic and sharing what you have with others, and really leveraging word of mouth marketing. And it's built a multi-million-dollar company. And I've been able to, I'm not allowed to talk about what I earn, but it's obviously been a game changer. And I also want to say this, guys, because I think this is important to you. I understood residual income. Tina and I have talked about this. She said, I did not understand that piece of this when your husband first told me about Radiator Fields, this passive residual income piece. But this is the part that I really hope, if you don't take anything away from our conversation today, that you understand passive or residual income, which is when you can get paid to go to bed at night. When you don't have to go work on a billable hour, or in your case, go sell a home yourself in order to create income. What I know that is so unique for you guys that I think is brilliant is you have kind of the option to, without having to pay for brick and mortar, create a business that can pay you even when you personally aren't selling a home that week or that month. And my father is the one who taught me this, because as I told you, he's in real estate. So he owned office buildings, shopping center. He developed tons of neighborhoods out here where we live. And he taught me the power of residual income. He said the way to create wealth is to create residual income, where you can get paid irregardless of a billable hour or a sale. And that's what you guys have with this business model that perhaps you did not have in your former agencies. And what I really want to impart to you guys today is the value of selling that. Because if you're like me, and we had this hesitation, we were kind of reticent to sell the business because we didn't want to be that person. Mm-hmm. Some of you say, I don't want to recruit, like I feel weird about recruiting. Well, here's what I want to say to you. You got recruited.
Yes, they did.
You're here. Was that weird? Was that weird for you? Now, maybe you think, well, I came over because my respect for Tina or Marty or Penny or Pam or Jennifer. Maybe you came for the expertise, but if you trust their expertise in real estate, don't you also trust their expertise in business? The fact that they've chosen this business model and they're at the top of their game speaks volumes about the fact that what you have your hands on is tremendous. Because again, here's your options. Sell a house or sell property, or sell a house, property, and sell a business. And when you do that, that's when you get paid while you sleep. And that's what this offers. And so one of the things I also wanted to make sure I pointed out to you guys, and why I believe in EXP, and why I did the moment I read through all the stuff and watched the videos, and I basically got recruited for EXP, but I'm not with EXP. I'm not
you to get your license, Hallie.
I know. I told Paul, I was like, listen, I don't care about. I told Paul, I said, I don't care about selling a house, but I'd sell the heck out of this business.
You're 6,000 people, Holly. I'm just telling you, be about $5 million a year. If you don't want an extra $5 million, I'm just saying. No,
I won't take it. Check. So, but truthfully, what you guys are is a disruptor. Now, okay, so that's what Rodina Phillips was. We redefined direct selling.
Yes.
In so many ways, and I won't go into all of that, but truthfully, we were the darlings of the channel because we were doing it differently.
Yep.
And because we were redefining the way people access dermatologic skincare. Yep. And guess what happened? In like 8 or 9 years, we became the #1 skincare brand in all of North America, surpassing Estee Lauder, Clinique, Lancome, Neutrogena.
Yeah.
All price points. We're #1. And the reason for that is we were disrupting the channel. Okay, and I know for you guys, that same thing is true because I looked it up. I know that you guys are #1 in transaction count here. You're #2 in individual office volume, #4 for overall firms. And this is just within a year's time, growing faster in the triangle than you did in Charlotte, which Charlotte was already on the map for EXP, right? And you guys were #18 a year ago. This is what I'm saying, disruptor.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys are a part of. And so I just have this experience that, you know, I've been doing this for 8 years ahead of what you guys are doing, or 7 years ahead, where I can see what being the disruptor means. And here's what it means. #1, people will not understand you. Yeah. People don't like change, but if you don't like change, you're going to hate irrelevancy even more. Okay? If you don't like change, you're going to hate the irrelevance, because if you don't believe me, ask Blockbuster. Yes. Who had a chance to buy Netflix. And they did. That's right. Guess what happened, right? Netflix blew up, took over, and Blockbuster went out of business, right? So again, people aren't going to understand you up front. They're not going to understand it. They're going to make assumptions. And people are afraid of what they don't understand.
Right.
You guys have an insight to know what's true and what's not. And that's the way I looked at RNF. You could say, oh, it's one of those companies, or, you know, but I knew the truth. I knew we were doing it differently. I knew the hearts behind this brand. I knew what our intentions were. And I knew that the products were best in class, the best I'd ever used. They absolutely transformed my skin. And I knew that the business model was going to change a lot of people's lives. Hey, I have 30 of my girls are car drivers, which means they're making 6-figure incomes, you know, every single year, right? And that this is what, and let me tell you, they're not all extroverts. And I also want to say, some of you think, well, I can't be Tina or I can't be Marty. You're not meant to, okay? What you're meant to be is to bring the best you to the table every single day. And in all my years of coaching, what I have found is people shrink behind the lies they tell themselves.
Yes.
I can't. I'm not enough. I can't do that. Oh, Tina's so well-spoken. Oh, she's so good. Let me tell you what Tina also is, the hardest worker in the room, okay? And here's what I knew. I was not the most talented salesperson. I knew nothing about skincare, but here's what I could control, my work ethic. I could control how I learned. I could control how I became a student of the industry, how I became a student of skincare, how I became a student of leadership. You guys can control how you become a student of your industry, how you become a student of the market, how you become a student of sales, and how to get better and how to be better at your craft. I've watched Tina do that. I've watched her devote her time to that. And so if you look at Tina or Marty or any of you other gals that are just total rock stars in this industry and you're going, yeah, but I'm not them, maybe you haven't done the work they've done. And that's the controllable piece. All of us are gifted with natural abilities and talents, but the differentiator, right? Talent, like hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work. It is all within your control to grow this business in a way that you want to, and don't let any limited thinking change your belief in what you can do. Because truly, for such a time as this, you guys have found this business when it is in the birthing stages in this market. Can you imagine what EXP is going to look like in the next decade? You can be a part of that growth. And here's what I'll also tell you. If you're not a part of that growth, someone else will be. It's going to happen. It's inevitably going to happen. You can either be a part of the growth or you can stand back and watch it. Which brings me to my next point. When I was out recruiting people, you know the mantra I said to myself every day? I said, you can join me or you can watch me, but you'll do one of the two. I didn't say that out loud to everybody. I just thought it. I thought if you don't get this, I'll go find someone who does. Because I get it. I see it. I see what it's going to become. And I will work my tail off to get there. Now, Romy Neustadt is someone that I think that Tina's probably told you about. She's one of my colleagues, you know, one of the top earners in Rodan Field. What I will tell you is she is the one that really inspired me, because when I joined as a consultant, I was not on her team, but I heard that in 3 years, she had created this incredible income and she had an incredible team in just 3 years' time. And when I first listened to her, I said to my husband, Paul, she did this in Bozeman, Montana at the time. She did this in Bozeman, Montana in 3 years. I can do this in Raleigh, North Carolina in 10 years. And I remember Paul said to me, I just want you to pay the kids' tuitions. Even though he was the one that believed in this.
Right. Like, sure, Holly.
His bar was set like here. Right. I'm like, I don't half-ass anything. Like my bar, right. You know, I'm a man. And I just remember he almost laughed at me for saying that. But guess what? In 3 years' time, I had done what she had done. And I had reached that same title in 3 years. And so I just thought to myself, like, the sky really is the limit. And I think that's what I want you guys to understand too. The sky's the limit. And just like I wasn't relegated to one market, you weren't either. How beautiful is that, right? You can grow this anywhere. That's what made me be able to grow so fast, was that, yeah, all my networks were here in Raleigh, born and raised, went to NC State, you know, like my networks are Raleigh. I'm a Raleigh girl. In fact, in Rodan Fields, I'm known as Holly from Raleigh. That is the truth. And this is my network. But I'm going to tell you, I was able to expand it into 3 countries based on someone I knew and someone I knew and someone I knew. Like, referral marketing works. And so, but it was because of my passion and belief in this business. That is what was contagious. Okay, so here's what I also want you to know. You can know all the facts in the world about why EXP is smart, why people should want to build a business in it. But if you don't have true belief that is evoking a passion in you when you talk, it's going to be harder. But real innate passion and belief is contagious. You guys, I'm sure, have seen Simon Sinek do Start With Why, right? Where he talks about people don't buy what you're selling, they buy why you sell it, right? And it's this whole idea that our brains, before making a purchase or making a decision, even though there's that rational side of your brain that's at work, there's an emotional side of your brain that is provoked or evoked by emotion and by passion. So when someone feels your fire, they're drawn to it, like a moth to a flame. And so what I would really challenge you guys to do is, if you don't have a strong belief in this business model enough to sell it to other agents, then get educated on the business model. Get those questions resolved. Don't be afraid to go to Tina or any of your other leaders and say, hey, I still am not sure about this, or this. Like, get confirmation and conviction. And when you do that and you share this with other agents, even if they look at you and go, oh, I've heard about that, it's like this MLM thing, you can look at them and say, listen, I totally understand preconceived ideas, but you can't know what you don't know. I didn't either. I think if you take the time to take a look, then what you might find, it's the smartest thing that's happened in real estate in decades. Okay, because again, people don't understand disruptors. They will push back against it. They will assume you're in the category of X, Y, and Z. Our jobs is to stay calm, stay assertive, and say, hey, I understand every single one of those questions because I had it too, right? But here's what I know. When I did my due diligence and I looked at what this brand has done in other markets and what it's going to do here, I knew I would be a fool to say no. That's what I knew. And when you start to have that conversation, it doesn't matter. If they walk away and they still don't get it, I promise you, your words will ring in their heads. It'll ring in their heads because, again, you can join me or you can watch me, but you'll have to do one of the two things, right? And so for me, I think what it also goes back to is the value proposition of your business. When you understand the value proposition of EXP, you can sell it and you can recruit. Because again, you were recruited for whatever reasons, and I love that you guys can bring agents in and leverage these powerhouse agents known throughout this market. You're leveraging their expertise, their training, their support. I mean, that alone is enough to get people to come over. Mm-hmm. Then what's important is for them to understand you can come over and plug more people into that same system to duplicate success. And it's working. Look what you guys are doing. Number 2, right? That's in a year's time. Yeah. That's what you have your hands on, and that's what you can create. And I will say this also. If you are obsessed with status quo, you will remain status quo. Nothing changes unless something changes. There always has to be a catalyst for change. So I'm going to ask you, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, do you want to still spend your weekends selling homes? Hey, and if that's what you love, that's what you should keep doing. I tell my girls who just sell tons of products, if that's your passion and that's what you love, keep selling those products. But if in 5 to 10 years, you don't want to be obligated to the schedule of your clients, then what I would say to you is this: the garden you will live in 5 to 10 years from now is 100% dependent on the seeds you're sowing in your garden today. Today. Our actions today are defining the future for us. And so that's why I will say to you, sow the seed that's based in belief, to sow the seeds of business ownership with EXP, of being able to be an agent within EXP that can build a residual business with that brand. Sow those now, because 5 to 10 years from now, that will be the difference between you having to sell X amount of homes a year and being able to support a team that is selling that. So in the first early years of my business, I still sell products. I'm still passionate about helping people with their skin, but it is not the driving force for me. It is not. Now, I'm in a place now where I get up every day and my schedule is mine. Paul's schedule is his. You know what we've done? Yeah. You know what we've done during the whole pandemic? My boys have played golf literally every day.
Yeah. Stop rubbing it in.
Yeah, I know, right? Literally every day. Our college student is home. He's playing golf. He's looking at me like, Mom, I can't go to work. My job's not open. What do I do? I'm going out to the golf course. I've been at home running my business, going for workouts, doing things on my terms. Now, it doesn't mean I don't still work. I don't want to portray that at all, but I work because I love it. Mm-hmm. I'm passionate about it. The truth is if I retired today, I'd find something else to stay busy doing. That's my passion. But it is a life lived on our terms. Yeah. It's a life lived with time freedom and time flexibility. And I will tell you, the FTC does not like me sharing that information now. They are really trying to crack down on direct sales. And I get it, because there's some slimy things that happen out there. They want us to be very cautious about what we share. But I just feel very confident in saying that I believe that a business model like EXP provides people the opportunity to work to create something that does not require them to be defined by their billable hour or the number of homes sold in a year. It doesn't. It's different. And I am not familiar with another agency that has ever allowed such a thing, which is, again, why you're the disruptor. Like Netflix was, like Airbnb was to the hotel industry, like Uber was and Lyft was to the cab industry. You're a disruptor. And people won't always get it, but it is on us to share what we know, not in an argumentative way, but to share what we know to help them understand what's in it for them. The best salespeople always say, what's in it for them? All right, let me help them get it. Yep. That's how you'll be loved, how you'll be trusted, and how you'll be successful. Help enough people get what they want, and then you can have what you want. The other thing that I was going to say is that I think probably the last thing that I'll share with you is in my coaching, the thing that I find plagues people the most in sales is what's happening between their ears. It's legitimately, if I could just get in their brains, I wish you could see you like I see you. I believed in so many of my team members before they believed in themselves. So many of those girls who are making that income that I mentioned earlier, they did not believe in themselves. They weren't extrovert salespeople like you probably see Tina as, or maybe you'll see me as. They were not that at all. You know what they were? They just had a work ethic and a belief in what this could do for them. And I always say I believed in them first, but then they began to believe in themselves. And that was the turning point. When you understand why not you. I don't know what the statistics are, but there's always been that 80-20 rule, right? Which is basically that 80% of sales is done by 20% of the people, right? That there's always that top cream of the crop that is producing the most. And that's true. But if you don't consider yourself one of the 20%, I have to ask you, why not? Why not you? There's so much you can't control. You can't control who agrees to hire you as their agent. You can't control that. But what you can control is your work ethic and the work you're doing for your business and on yourself. Always. We're always evolving. I'm not at the top of my game yet. I might be at the top of the pay plan or I don't think I'm at the top of my game because I think I can get better and better and better and better. And let me also say this. I've gotten better because I've failed the most. I would argue to say no one in my entire organization of 6,000 consultants has ever worked as hard as me, or have they failed as often as I have. I think you have to be willing to fall on your face and fail to actually be successful because it's going to require risk. So again, to anyone who feels like, I don't know if I can recruit, I'm going to tell you right now, you were recruited. In the same way that you were recruited, go share that with someone else. Go leverage the tremendous assets you have in this organization, this team right here. Leverage the heck out of it. Because I know there are tons of agents who would love to have Tina Caul or Marty Hampton or any of you gals pouring your knowledge and wisdom and expertise into them and being incentivized to do so. So make sure that if there's any part of your brain that is saying, I can't, I'm not that, I'm not this, change that narrative. Because as you think, that's what you become. These things are so powerful. You've got to truly work on the stuff that is getting in your way, that's making you feel like you're incapable. Change that narrative and start believing you can and that you will. Because when people, that's where I see the change happening, is when someone gets it and they get out of their own way and they start doing the work. That's where I see success happen almost 100% of the time. So Tina, is there anything else that you want me to share that I didn't?
No, I mean, just, I want everybody, number one, put your questions in the chat box for Holly if you have questions. I want everyone to see like the passion, and I mean, I want to join Rodan and Fields right now. Like that's what I want to do and go sell face screens. Why? Because Holly has true passion. She's not trying to sell us anything. It literally pours out of her face, her skin. She's glowing. She truly believes what she's doing. And what I tell them all, I'm a year into this and I see all of I get comments from Charity and Katrina and Penny, and everyone's texting me going, wow, that works, and thank you. And it's like, you get those texts. I know Pam gets them all the time from our team. And just that, you go, man, I've actually changed these people's lives. Like, that's kind of fun. I can go sell 100 homes and make $1 million. I can do that. I can trash this whole idea, set it aside, and go just live my quiet life and not have to manage anybody. But it's not fulfilling. Like you said, I don't want to go sell another house. That's just me, because I have a team doing it and they're duplicating my process. That's my call group team. Now we have this other amazing 200 people that decided to follow this craziness, right? But they all have this belief that's growing, and some are at, the infancy stage, and then something clicks. I know Jennifer Cervera's on this call. Something clicks where she's like, oh my God, I brought these people into this opportunity. They're getting it. I'm getting rewarded for it, and we're building this together, and they become your family. And I think of those 100 people that followed you that turned into 6,000, but how many people, Holly, said no of the 100?
Oh, gosh. I mean,
how many have you talked to? that said no.
I mean, most say no. Most say no to the business, right? So, I mean, I wish I'd kept a list. I wish my list had actually calculated like how many no's there were. Oh my gosh, most say no. But to your point, Tina, you know, I said this so often. I said, I'm looking for the people who are looking for me.
Yes.
So that's it.
And we say that too. And think of this, in 8 years you've been doing this.
Yeah.
So 100 people said yes, 12 per year. One a month, guys. One a month said yes. One a month. People go, oh my God, it's 100. Oh, but she was going to do this regardless. And I tell them all, guys, the people that have 6,000 people on their team at EXP right now have done it in 2 years. And only 25 to 35 people have said yes. And so that's one a month, maybe two when you get lucky, because they had the same passion, the same belief to change lives. So I always think, if I'm going to do something, like when I moved to Raleigh, it was a 10-year goal. 10 years, I want to have this net worth. In 10 years, I want to have this. So I'm a very patient person. And so when I look at what you've grown in 8 years, it's 12 yeses per year. And every month you probably talk to at least, 50 women?
Oh gosh. I mean, especially in the first few years, you know, what's so interesting is I haven't tried to actively recruit for several years now because my hands were full. Yeah. I always like to say, Jesus had 12 disciples. Who am I to think I can do more, right? Like, I mean, at some point, your bandwidth just gets so big, right? And so I pulled back on recruiting. So, but on average, that's absolutely it. And yes, you have to talk. I always tell my team, every day your mouth is closed, so is your business. This is word of mouth recruiting. This is literally sharing what you know with others. So every day, make it a point to talk to somebody about this every single day. Because if the odds come out, let's say your closing rate is as low as, let's say 10%, right? Which I think 10% is what they say it typically is when you're just getting started. So in other words, if you talk to 100 people, 100 agents, 10 might have reasonable interest. That doesn't mean that you close them, but they might have interest. So do the math. You know, if you're at the beginning of this, how many agents do you need to connect with? And you'll get better at, and I don't know how you guys work your system, but one of the things that my team knew to do is, if you really wanted to close somebody, get them in me.
And we do that too. Because what I know about EXP is different than somebody who just joined a week ago or 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. They see the growth opportunity. They see the leverage it will give them, or they see the value that training will give them, but they need to turn over and edify. And, you know, I want to bring people to you to sign up for EXP because your energy is infectious, but that's the difference. It's like, you know, I think as salespeople, we go, ooh, I want to close them. I want to do it. I want to say I got that person to see this. And it's like, that's not what it's about. It's about connection. I talked to a young guy yesterday. He said his goal was to make $75,000 a year and sell more homes. Like, I'm not going to talk to him about building an empire and a residual income-based life. Like, the kid just wants to survive, and he's worried about paying $85 a month to run his business at EXP. He really wanted mentorship. So it was like, let's talk to you about mentorship, what it looks like, how you can tap into me and my knowledge, and why would I want to help you, kid, you know, get from 10 deals to 15 deals to 20 deals. Why would I want to do that? And that's what's so magical is I can't bring this guy on and make money. I just can't. Just bringing people on for no reason doesn't give value, but I have to pour into him. Once he gets it, he's going to grow, and then his belief will grow. And then I told him, agents will go, man, that guy came into EXP. He's mentored by all these amazing agents, and look at his business thrive, and they're going to be attracted to that. So we have to make people successful, and that's why the financial alignment works. It works.
That's right. That's right. And so many of my leaders did not join Rodin and Fields to make a lot of money. They to literally, like me, it was like, well, I did do it to build because I got it, but most of them weren't. They were there to make a living, like you said. They were there to so it was a great surprise when it took off, right? But once they got it, they got it.
They got it. Yeah, and they could focus a little more on it when they were ready, and that's okay.
That's okay.
And that's my thing. Like I always say, I'm going to be fine. Like I'm going to be good. And like you, I'm a worker bee. So if I wasn't doing this, I'd be doing something else. And this brings me a new passion. And it wasn't that I didn't like selling real estate anymore. It was just 20 years of the same redundant thing. I needed stimulation in my life. Like it just was too robotic. And when there's no passion left in something, I'm done with it. It's like, okay, we're going to move on. Now to see an agent walk in, Mackenzie walked in the other day, she's like, I got an $800,000 listing and I might have a two. And it's like, that is, I want more of that. And so that is magical. And then to have, like you said, a disruptive element in the business, we have never had an opportunity to literally get into a brokerage position from day one to receive 50% of the total company revenue because we shared an opportunity with another real estate agent and grew their life. Like that hasn't been done. Now, Keller Williams did do that in 1984. They had something similar and they got the whole, you're an MLM, you know, this is a pyramid. They had to live through that. So they were the pioneers of this model. But what shifted is the whole brick and mortar concept.
Brick and mortar.
The profit was eaten up by that. That is gone now. The profit's gone. You can't go there and make, I can't go to Keller Williams and bring 100 people in and have 6,000 people in 2 years and make $4 million. I can't do that. I can do that at EXP. These guys can do that still. We're like ground level. And so that's the difference of the disruption. And it's
and let's look at it this way too. If a new agent's coming into this market and says, which agency do I partner with? Keller Williams cannot become EXP today. Neither can any other agency. Same was true with Rodan & Fields. Neutrogena, Clinique, Estee Lauder, Lancome, none of them could pivot and then go into the channel and compete. So we were outgrowing them 67% year over year over year. I mean, like, killing it.
Yeah.
Nobody could do what we were doing. And right now, nobody can do what you guys are doing.
No, they can try. And that was my thing. Like, so let's say some company comes tomorrow and says, we're going to copy this. We're a decade in. We're a decade in company.
You're ahead of the curve. Same with us. We're just
And really huge agents, powerful agents saw it, just like you saw it. And they came and they brought validity. They brought passion. And now other agents are going, why are those good agents going to this little company, right? There must be something there. And so they've got a lot of downward pressure from their organizations telling them this is bad. Oh, don't look at that. This is icky, or this is this, or they just want to recruit you so you can, you know,
make them money.
Yeah. And it's like, I can't recruit someone and not pour into them, or it doesn't work. Like that
doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I recruited plenty of people that did zero. Okay. And that was time. If time is money, I lost money on every single one of those people. Right. But it didn't matter because I still held up my end of the deal. And if I do that enough, you find the people who get it and will duplicate and will just continue to do what you're doing. And I hate that. I hate when people say, you just want to make, you know, these are just, our plan and yours are set up that the only way we make money is by helping and serving another human being in their business.
Yes.
That's fair. And if you don't think corporate America makes a crap ton of money off people, not by serving and caring about their career. Okay, tons. And I always say when people say pyramid, I'm like, well, this shape is in corporate America in spades. Okay, right here. And guess what? You can't out-earn the CEO. A lot of us consultants out-earn the executives in San Francisco in Rodan Fields. Okay, you know. So I'm just saying, I now understand. I understand the hatred for the model because there are people who have done this so poorly.
Right.
Companies who have done it so poorly. Rodan & Fields wouldn't even be a part of the DSA for years because we were like, we don't want to even align with some of those brands. But I will say, so many do it well, and I've since learned that. And you guys do it well. And everything that is set up to be equitable and fair. And, you know, that's why you can lay your head on the pillow at night and know what you're doing is not just morally sound, but it's brilliant and smart. And people want to do it.
And it's changing lives. It's like, you know, you know, and I tell my young agents that come in, I'm like, you guys, you know, in 20 years, you may have built enough, you know, income to go and potentially buy a brokerage and start that old, same traditional old fashioned model. They don't have to do that anymore. They literally come in with the same opportunity that the big Remax owners have and the big global banker owners have. Like they literally are right there, and they're way more profitable from the onset because where could I, little old Tina Caul, build a 200 agent brokerage in 12 months? There's just no way. And it's because of the power of the people. It's not everybody I talked to. It was 25 people I brought on. And these guys are building their own empire too, which is exciting. So tell me a little bit about right in the beginning,
Yeah.
Like, did you have like goals? Okay, I'm going to talk to this many people. Did you have days where you're like, this is exhausting and I'm going to quit? You know, like talk about the
Oh
balance.
gosh. I train my team. If you don't want to quit on a regular basis, you're not doing it right. I train my leaders, not everybody, but if you don't want to quit on a regular basis, you're probably not doing it right. And that's a little bit of a joke because I do believe you got to find joy in your journey. Because here's the thing, guys. When I got to the top, I didn't go, oh, I did it.
Right.
I literally went, what's next?
Right.
But it's always a moving scale. And if you think you're going to be happy and fulfilled when you hit the peak, I promise you won't. You'll feel good about it. But if there's always something new to do because we're evolutionary people. We're always evolving into the next thing or, you know, so, but I will say at the beginning, I set goals every month. I wanted to bring in 2 consultants every month, personal to me. And I wanted to bring in 4 customers. I mean, that was not because my focus was more on selling the business. By doing that and training that's what created duplication of just setting that minimal goal and training the others to do the same. That really created that, you know, where you start to really see the numbers start to multiply. And yes, the no's were hard, especially at first, because here's the thing, uncertainty's always wrapped in fear. And so when you're uncertain about how or when or what, when there's some uncertainty, it is so easy for discouragement and fear to set in. So literally my prayer every morning for the first year of my business was, please don't let me get discouraged today. Please don't let me get discouraged today. Because sales was new to me. Everything was new to me.
Oh, yeah.
You guys at least have that in your back pocket. I had none of that. And
right.
So I was just, you know, I was like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. But I was betting on my belief and my understanding of what I had to offer that I knew people wanted it. You know, skincare is a growing industry by $1 billion a year in the US alone. So I was not going to run out of people to sell products to, but I knew I wouldn't run out of people to talk to about the business either because I'd find the right people in their time. By the way, do you know how many people on my team said no to me many times before they finally said yes? Many.
Oh, yeah.
They just didn't get it. They did not get it. But here's the thing, stay consistent, stay visible to your networks, use social media. You can use it wisely and not wisely, but social media, if you're talking about selling houses already on social media, you should also be talking about EXP and letting brokers know why this is smart. There's so much education that can happen in social media, for sure. I mean, it's where everybody congregates, especially right now. There's been a 52% uptick in social commerce since the COVID crisis.
Yeah.
So be visible, you know, but yeah.
Sometimes too, on the visibility factor, I think, you know, you've got now this onslaught of EXP agents going, EXP is amazing, EXP. And so now all the other brokers are hearing it and they're like, oh my God, you EXP people are exhausting, right?
Yes.
It's almost like you feel like the minute you put a post, you're going to have that negative, or you won't get any likes on it. And so then and you're like, should I just take it down? You know, and I tell them, don't be discouraged because they're watching.
They're watching.
Watching.
Oh, you guys, they're watching. You won't even believe. Because I've had the same mental battles because I can get like so many likes on, you know, talking about my kids or the weather.
Right.
If I talk about R enough, it's like, you know, but here's the thing. People reach out to me all the time that have not liked one single post. They have not commented on one single thing, but they're like, or I'll see them out at the grocery store and they're like, I'm really impressed by what you've done with your business. You know, like you don't know who you're impacting. And if they're a hater, so what? If you notice, confident people who are very comfortable in their own lives are not critics of everybody else.
That's right.
They're not. So, and Mother Teresa did not have a 100% approval rating.
That's right.
She didn't. All right, and let's be real, she probably should have, right? So what I'm going to say to you is, forget the haters. That's going to happen. You will never do anything great in life with a 100% approval rating. You won't. You won't.
It won't matter.
Oh.
Think about this. All the people that said no to you in the last 8 years.
Oh.
Do you lay in bed? I need to know this. Do you lay in bed and have a list next to your bed and worry about what they're doing in their lives right now?
No, don't you hate that you said no to me?
Right? Don't you hate that you said no to me? And I said that to my friend Michelle. I said, Michelle, because I said no to her for 2 months. I was like, no. Finally I said yes, and I opened up, and now I'm like, I want to kiss her feet every time I see her.
Every time you're like,
she was so consistent with me and like such a pain in the butt. But, you know, I think of myself in 2-3 years, or when you're on all these amazing vacations, which I watch you, like, she has been my muse. I'm like, I want her life. I want her life. But I know behind the scenes, like, I'm sure you have your own issues and your own problems, and life is not perfect.
No, and I'm so not. Absolutely.
Right. But I love the fact that, you know, you live right near me. I know you're in your kitchen, being Holly, doing your coffee, and I'm out here struggling, trying to get, you know, the next sale. And so you were always my muse. I'm like, I want to add that into my life. And that's really where I believe I manifested Michelle to get my butt in gear to go, here's a great avenue to help agents leverage more of their time, because I gave up my time my entire 20 years. I gave up so much of it that it brings me to tears to think back of how many moments I could have gotten back, and you can't get those back.
You don't get them back. And I had the great privilege of raising my children the way I wanted to.
Right.
Creating this business. And let me also say this. My children only knew me as a stay-at-home mom. When I started this business, I took my oldest child, who was a teenager at the time, by the time I took him to an event where some of my leaders were presenting and they were sharing what this business has done for them. And I walked off the stage that night, and my son, my teenage son, stood there, and he had tears in his eyes, and he went, "You're changing people's lives. Like, this is incredible." Like, he just didn't understand. It forever changed the way he saw me. He now has written, he writes in my Mother's Day cards, "Mom, you've taught me the kind of leader I want to be. You've taught me how to go after what I want and pursue it and not be afraid to do it." Like, the way that seeing me in this position has impacted my kids, you can't, there's no price you could put on that. And I got the time with them because fortunately I did find this at the right time, you know. But Tina, I agree, manifesting that to you for a whole year before RNF showed up in my life, I said to Paul, something's on the horizon. There's something I'm going to do. I feel it. I'm an untapped resource in this house. I want to contribute. What is it? I searched everything in the world out. And when this landed in my lap, I was ready. Yeah. And I want to say to you guys, when you're talking to people and they're saying no, like Tina did for 2 months, remember, if you the fortune is in the follow-up always. If her broker who brought her into this business had given up on her after the first no, none of you would be here, right? So remember that kind persistence and just continuing the conversation, as long as they're open to it, is 100% the way this works.
Yeah. And not everybody, just like when I go cold call, not everyone answers the phone and goes, "I'm so excited you're calling me today.
No!
Tell me something." Nobody ever says yes immediately. There's one person on this call, and it's Mullen. She's the only one that called me and said, "I want to sign up for EXP today. Where do you live? Let's go." Mullen,
love those people.
You're awesome.
I mean, those people are so awesome.
There are few people like that, you know. I mean,
but it's not normal. That is so not the norm.
No.
And in fact, people might agree to a phone call from you, and they'll be like,
"Yeah,
all right, I'm doing this," like almost begrudgingly. But if you say, listen, identify with them, help them understand, you know why they feel that way. Because none of us really want to be sold anything.
No, absolutely not. Especially when they think you're benefiting from that.
Yes.
"Oh, she's trying to recruit me so she can make money."
Right.
Well, okay, well, there's a win-win here. And that's like, we all have equal opportunity, but you're going to get a lot of value. And if I don't give you value, that's why I say to people, leave, spend your $149, join the brokerage, stay for 2 or 3 months. The cool thing is you're not a tree. You can move.
You can leave.
Right? And so it doesn't matter if you don't like it, go. But it's the change. People just don't love change.
They don't love change. They're resistant to it. Yeah. And again, every one of those people who says, "I don't want change," if I said, "What if I could give you an extra $100,000 a year?" would say, "No, thanks."
Right.
They just wouldn't say that. I mean, I don't think, it's like, or whatever X amount of dollars a year. It's like, yeah, you don't want change, but if you don't change something, nothing changes.
Yeah, absolutely. And our mission is selling homes. All these people on the calls, their focus is to sell houses right now. Yes. They want to learn that, unless they're, Marty Hampton, she's figured it out. Sharon Evans, Renee Hillman, you guys have this. But I mean, they want to learn that process first. And so we show them that process. But the neat thing is they have friends they can share the opportunity with, right? To bring them in. And we all are kind of holding each other up going, this is awesome. Like, we're one big family learning how to sell houses at a high level, because that is our first priority.
That's right.
And you can leverage in different business opportunities when you're ready, when your belief meter is up, And,
There you go.
And if you don't believe yet, but you kind of see all this excitement around, then know that that can happen for you eventually, but tap into your friends, bring them over because they may see it faster, and that success will drive that passion, I think. Just sharing the
100%.
opportunity.
Yeah,
We're
and
all not here because we're crazy. We're here because there's a great opportunity to grow something magical.
That's right. And again, I agree with you. I think it's always important that the selling of the homes or property is the most important thing. It's the foundation. And same for me with products. 80% of our revenue comes from customers, not from consultants. So certainly I wanted to sell the product and show the team how it was done and really build that customer base and teach them. That's the fundamental, that's the core of who you are.
Right.
But when you do understand that you now can bring in other agents and they have this phenomenal opportunity they don't get anywhere else. And remember, because it's what's in it for them. Guys, there's no other agency that is allowing what EXP does. So it is, why wouldn't you share it? Like, instead of thinking what's in it for me, or I just need to get these agents so that I can build passive income, switch that whole thinking to, if I were an agent, I would want to know that this EXP option is unlike anything else, and it really provides more benefits than anything else.
Correct.
Like, you owe it to them to tell them. Do you see what I'm saying? You owe it to them to let them know.
Absolutely.
They say no, they say no.
That's it. And that's okay.
No means not right now.
That's okay. Because a lot of sellers say no. A lot of buyers say no. I mean,
That's
that's our job. Our job is to be in front of people and get many no's because you're going to find a yes.
You're going to find a yes.
Go for no. I tell my team, go for no today.
Go for no.
You're going to get 25. Great. You're going to find a yes in there. It's just.
Well, it's like in baseball. If you're batting 300, like, you're considered top of your game in baseball. If you're batting 300 in sales, man, you're killing it. But that still means you're getting 7 no's.
Yeah, absolutely. So real quick, I'm going to read some of the comments which say, this is so inspiring. Your passion is infectious. Thank you, Holly. Thank you for your great energy. This training is literally gold. Very exciting. She's so sweet. You are amazing. So my last question is, what's next for Holly Brewer?
That's a great question, right? So I always say, if I'm not feeling challenged, then I'm probably not living up to my potential or feeling as fulfilled or as happy. I always like there to be a little rub in the challenge. And so I will continue to build Rodan & Fields. We've been growing in this economic crisis. Can you believe it? We grew 10% last month, which for our organization is huge. So we are, come get my real estate license. I'll sell it. I'm telling you.
She's mine. I'm going to get her after this.
I've thought about it just because this looks like fun. This looks like fun.
Funny story real quick. Paul, she tasked Paul, her husband, to come and recruit me to Rodan & Fields. And he called and it was Paul. And he's like, Holly and I think you're amazing. You're such a leader in the community. We think you'd be great at this. And I said to Holly, I go, your one big mistake was you didn't call, because your energy and your excitement, I would have signed up that day for
that. I know. And I just didn't. And Paul had the relationship with Tina being in real estate, and I didn't, so.
Here, though, that was her.
I'll always kick myself for not just saying, Paul, give me your number. Let me call her right now. So.
Darn it. We could have been friends faster.
I know. I mean, it's crazy. But what's next for me is I'll continue to build Rodan & Fields, because we're going to continue to build globally and locally. We still only have a 30% brand awareness, whereas our competition has 90%. So we have so much room for growth. And so I'll continue to do this because I'm passionate about it. But yeah, I mean, maybe I need to go get my real estate license and join you guys. But I'll continue to speak it. My passion is entrepreneurialism. So I want to pour into I do spend a little bit of time pouring into entrepreneurs in different avenues and just helping them start their business. And I do it for free because it's what I'm passionate about. But I think I get speaking engagements and writing opportunities. I just haven't taken a lot of them yet, but probably will in the next few years. So.
I think so. I think we need to talk to our EXP leadership and get your butt on that virtual stage. That would be really
happy to do it.
Well, thank you. We've taken more time than we should have, but you're a gem. I wish we all could download your passion, because passion sells, like you said. So you're amazing. It does. Thank you, friend.
Thank you for having me, guys. I enjoyed the morning. I hope sorry for going so long, but I love being with you guys.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. And we're going to post it on our Facebook group so we can have everybody tap into this when they're ready. But thank you. You're amazing. And continued success as always.
Same to you guys. All right. I'll see you guys later.
Thanks. Bye, y'all.